going to start the general session on global kidney voices. And we're going to talk about the role and some of the activities that are being done and looking at the role that patients are playing in leading the charge in driving global innovation and independence. We're going to have a series of speakers that will discuss different aspects of global kidney voices. We are now going to hear from Rosemarie Sellati. And Rosemarie is the global head of patient advocacy for transplant at Novartis. She is a reformed scientist, so we're certainly glad that she came over to the patient advocacy side. We're looking forward to her presentation. Rosemarie?
Hi there, my name is Rose Solati, and I'm the Global Patient Engagement and Patient Advocacy Lead for Transplant and Liver Diseases at Novartis. I want to start by thanking AAKP for this opportunity to present to you. I want to tell you a little bit more about my role at Novartis. I support all aspects of drug development and commercial activities, helping teams to identify when, where, and how to implement patient insights and advocacy relations into our work, and ultimately support the patients and the broader community. This support is now end-to-end, so I work with teams in our research facility through various stages of development and into the commercial spaces, including market access. So our goals for today are really for me to share a little bit more about Novartis's commitment to patients, to talk about why it's so important for all of us in industry to recognize the value of patient engagement throughout the life cycle, and to share ways we can engage with the community to meet our aligned goals of improving the lives of patients. Like many companies, we pride ourselves in developing innovative medicines using advances in science and technology. I've worked at a number of companies, large and small, and each company has a certain culture that is embedded into the work environment. One of the things that drew me to Novartis were the people and the welcoming environment they created. The people at Novartis work with purpose, embracing this curiosity and inspiring each other to act with integrity. Novartis is a very big company and develops medicines in many therapeutic areas, including oncology, immunology, rheumatology, and transplant, just to name a few. We have facilities all over the world and employ over 110,000 people. But this size comes with enormous responsibility, and we take this very seriously in developing medicines to ensure that they meet patients' true unmet needs and that patients who need them have proper access. It's no secret that we live in an era of amazing medical innovation driven by better understanding of genetic and biological roots of disease and a surging use of data analytics and digital technology in science and healthcare. My generation saw the creation of the first computer and the World Wide Web, which are now staples in even third world countries. But at the same time, the world's population continues to grow and people are living longer, which is fueling this rise in chronic and debilitating diseases. Together, these factors are increasing the demand for high quality care worldwide and pressuring health systems to rise to the challenges of these increasing demands. So how can we rise to this challenge of increasing needs? Novartis is a leader in developing transformative medicines to feed into this demand. There are 5 big strategic pillars at Novartis, and the 2 that I'd like to focus on for the rest of my talk are those highlighted in red: delivering transformative innovation and building trust with society. To me, these are the 2 greatest opportunities for patient engagement and patient advocacy relations. Advancing R&D cannot be done without a thorough understanding of patients' unmet needs and the expectations with respect to new medicines. I'm a scientist by training, and I spent 15 years doing basic research and drug development on many chronic and acute immunological diseases. I can tell you firsthand that many scientists tend to think about diseases in a very molecular way and often lose sight of the humanistic aspect of diseases and really know what matters most to patients. One day in my tenure as a scientist, I had the opportunity to speak with a patient suffering from one of the diseases we actively doing research on, psoriasis. And she shared some of the daily challenges she had living with this chronic disease, the plaques, the joint pain, the embarrassing moments, and things she couldn't do because of the disease. But then she said to me, "You know what my biggest issue is living with psoriasis? It's the itch." And she looked me in the eye and she said, "If you are not solving the itch, you're not solving my problem." I thought I knew everything I needed to know about the diseases we were developing medicines for just by understanding the science. But I walked away from that conversation with that patient very humbled and realizing how little I knew. I went back to my lab bench with a new perspective and a more focused direction on which pathways I should target to address this unmet needs that these patients really suffered from. So without patient engagement, we can be misguided, but by working with patients and understanding what matters most to them, we have an opportunity and honestly an obligation to expedite the research we conduct. The dimension of development and clinical trials is just as important. We spend a great deal of time, resources, and money designing trials and conducting trials. Quite a few trials are delayed or even closed due to low enrollment, high dropout, or missing data. The CTTI, the Clinical Trial Transformation Initiative, published a paper in 2018 assessing the financial value of patient engagement. They took data from real clinical trials and monetized the cost savings of avoiding protocol amendments with patient engagement activities. I'll let you read the specifics, but suffice to say that a modest investment of $100,000 in patient engagement activities could potentially save a company millions of dollars, and just as importantly, years of time in advancing medicines to market. The reality is we all are or will be patients someday. We're all these biological vessels at the mercy of chronic and acute diseases. The power that we have in industry is our expertise and our collective passion to make a difference. Our commitment to patients and caregivers speaks to this aspiration of integrating patient perspectives more meaningfully and deeply into our daily work. And I'm speaking for all of us in the industry right now. Driving a better understanding of the science behind the diseases we research, developing medicines that truly address patient unmet needs from route of administration to mechanisms of action, designing trials with the reality of a patient's life and family in mind, and working with payers and policymakers to ensure access to healthcare and the medicines that we work so hard to develop for patients. All of these should be a focus for us as we journey through drug development. But we can't reach these goals without working together with organizations that share the same vision. We recognize that long-term success depends on many things, but one important factor is building and sustaining trust with society, including patient groups and professional societies. At Novartis, we've taken a concerted effort to move away from transactional relationships with groups and work more collaboratively in a model of co-creation across disease awareness, education, clinical development, and policy. And although we work in a highly regulated industry and some decisions are not ours to make, some insights and perspectives we may not be able to incorporate into our work or solve for right away, that should never stop us from listening to patients with respect. I was and always will be a scientist, but science only serves as our north, our direction. Our patients serve as our true north, that destination for all of us. And that we have to remember at every junction in the work that we do making medicines. I want to sincerely thank you for your time. And should there be any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. We're all in this together.
Thank you, Rosemarie, for that very insightful presentation. We appreciate your insights. And also, I want to thank you and Novartis for all that you're doing for kidney patients.